Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Mahogany True Talk. Oh, my good friend and sisters coming on board today, so we're gonna have fun tonight. But before we bring her on, let's get into the business side of things now, which is to welcome you and greet you all. Hi, my name's Shola Yubade, aka Mr. Mahogany. And Mahogany True Talk is a weekly interactive show brought to you by Mahogany Productions and Events. In case you don't know, Mahogany Productions and Events is an experiential event and production company that handles production and event management for clients. This show focuses on everything to do with events, from production, event management, host, music, and even food. We'll be bringing you the top guns like we're bringing you Tobi today and others to give you the true talk, the inside knowledge, the scoop about how it works for them, the things you need to know about the business to make yourself successful or even more successful in case you want to get started in the business. It's about that time now that we bring on the incredible um, Tobi. I can't even call her Tobias. Hey, my nephew's name is Tobias. This Tobi. I always like to tease him and say Tobias.
Tobias, yeah, a lot of people call me Tobias. My family calls me Tobias. Let me
Hey,
adjust this.
good. Tobias, how are you?
I'm good. It's actually a fun name. My siblings call me Tobias. I love it.
Oh, you love it? Okay. My nephew doesn't like being called Tobias. He really hates it with a passion. I don't know why.
Why?
Well, that's not his name. It's actually me that started harassing him and calling him
Okay,
Tobias.
it's not my name either, but it depends on who. Maybe you did something to your cousin.
My nephew, don't mind
Your
him.
nephew.
I cannot do anything to him. I'm the big one in the house. Is he okay?
We're
I'll
both
smack
wearing
his
blue.
bum.
That's
Ah,
good. I don't have a beard, but we're good. I love your beard, Mr. M.
thank you. This is back to normal beard. We were doing a what were we doing? We were doing a COVID beard before the whole thing.
Oh,
No.
yeah.
It was not good for my state of mind or my health or anything like that. I had to save it. So let's get into business. People don't want to hear you and I gist because if we get
Why
down to
not?
just
Everybody should take it easy. People should even calm down,
we
Mr. M.
just
That's
gist
actually
and
the issue.
forget them.
People,
Listen,
people need to
pe-
calm down, take it easy, and just chill.
Toby,
Just chill.
you are saying chill. It's data that is going on. Data has to be paid for. Okay.
I agree.
They, they came here for a purpose. So you are saying just chill.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
When
oh
they
yeah. Let's
when they
get
will send
into
you
it.
the
Let's do this.
when they will send you the data bill, you will know.
Send it. No, don't send it to because I might get some DMs. So yeah, thank
Oh,
you for having me on Mahogany True Talk. I like what you're doing for the industry, and it's important that we help one another. We teach one another. We learn wherever and
mhm.
however that we can. That's the truth. You never know. One thing I think we've all learned this period is how much knowledge we all need, and you just never know when you're going to need that knowledge. So yeah, well done, Mr. M,
Ah.
and thank you
Oh,
for
thank
inviting
you, Toby.
me.
Thank you. Oh my God, I'm so touched by that. Oh God. But let me
Yeah,
tell you about
whatever.
Toby. Toby, don't joke with her. Toby Olanihun is an event producer and project.
Olanihun,
Olanihun.
Olanihun,
Hmm.
hmm,
Olanihun. Okay,
Olanihun,
okay.
not Olanihun,
Olanihun. See that? Like you're
Olanihun.
singing. Olanihun.
I
Okay,
like it.
get the key right. Olanihun.
Olanihun.
Okay, so Toby Olanihun is an event producer and project manager with over 10 years professional experience, both at private and corporate level. She's an innovator with a single-minded dedication to create exclamation-worthy events. Toby has led and collaborated with various teams of seasoned professionals to create unforgettable customer experiences that translate to mind-blowing events across the world. Toby
If
is
I ever
always,
need someone to read out my profile for some
yes,
big thing, Mr. M, I'm going to give you a call.
no problem. I will do a voiceover for you. It's okay. It's done. So
Thank you.
Toby is always looking to the next best thing that can serve as a solution for issues raised in the industry and by her clients. Little wonder she quickly started exploring the virtual events routes as the pandemic hit. Please welcome Tobi Olanihun.
Thank you very much. I want to commend your team. First of all, I like the way they communicate, the way they communicated with me, the caption, the profile. Somebody, because what they've done, what your team gave you was something that we had out there, and the person modified it. So whoever is in charge of that, the person is good. I have to
Why
commend you. Well
Ray?
done.
We
Yeah.
did clap for now.
Why is she's good. So
She's
well
my
done.
producer. So she makes me look good. She makes me look good.
Yeah, and that's
Let
how
me
it
be
should
honest
be.
though. It's somebody like you that you're in the industry, you understand what is involved in putting an event together. You see through it, you know. The truth of it is you see a lot of presenters and hosts and you think, oh my God, they're amazing. But the truth of it is they are only amazing if they have a good team around them. Put a
Yep.
bad team around them and
That's it. That's the end, man.
the whole thing changes. So Ray, well done. Oh, I
Very
clap
well
for you.
done. She's been
Well done.
amazing. She's actually been amazing. So
So
watch
Tobi,
out. Might still have. Okay, go ahead.
you can't steal out. We are my gay. You're here. My gay, you know they talk. Oh, Toby said she wants to
We're
steal
expanding
wiring
our
from you.
team.
Oh,
Watch out. I'm just
okay.
joking. There's no need now. With all the collaboration we do, we'll be fine. We don't need to steal anyone.
Yes, so yes, so. So tell us about Wow Connect. How did you get into the event space? How did you start your own company?
Interesting. So I was in corporate. I was in sales. I was in oil downstream.
As in,
I
you were
started out.
working for an employee?
I was
Is that what
working for,
okay.
yes, I was an employee in an oil company downstream. Downstream is we basically sell petrol. And it was nice. I was lucky. I served with them. I was retained. I served and I was retained. I worked very hard. And it was the kind of organization where your work speaks for you. You have good bosses. It was a crazy. I loved the organization because I think I'm a workaholic to a certain degree. So your work, just work and you'll be fine. Just be smart and you'll be fine. It was a good working experience. I had awesome bosses, but I just was. I don't know if I was bored. I just kept on. I used to go to the corporate communications department. Are you guys now? Okay, what's happening? What are we planning? How is the end of the year party going to be? And they're looking at me now, what's wrong with this one that is in sales? What's your own with us? I just found it more interesting. I liked, coming up with the ideas. I just used to go and sit down and listen to them meet, even though I didn't need to be there. I just found that I was drawn to that. And I was one of those, how in events, you just find that you're the go-to person, maybe in family or friends. And when they need anything done regarding events, ideas, or even the logistics of it, you're just the go-to person. So I decided that I was going to leave. But funny enough, when I left, I was actually I started with running an oil business. So I was selling. I used to sell to petrol stations and companies. I used to sell oil. But I knew that wouldn't work. I really wanted to do this event thing. But when I started events, really, I didn't want to plan events for anyone. I didn't want to produce events for anyone. I wanted to stage my own productions, stage my own concerts, do fairs, and that's how I started. I started with doing fairs. It was called the Wow Fair. We started November 2010, and that's how I started business. I didn't really start business with doing events for anyone. I started with my fairs. There were fashion fairs. We had entertainment. We had the catwalk. We had artists. Like some of the big names now actually performed at my events, and it was a team of family and friends. So it was amazing. That's how I started. That's my story. My volume.
So what of the name Wow Connect? How did you come up with the name?
Funny, I was just in the car with a friend of mine, and I was like, I want to connect people. I want to connect. So when I got that name came about when I was actually thinking of my fairs. But I was like, I just want to provide a platform where I'm connecting people and creating wow experiences. And I said, wow, connect. And my friend was like, yeah, that's nice. And that was it. I didn't think about it. It happened in a car ride in Ikeja. I can't remember where we were going to. I think my friend had a shop in Maryland, and we're going to her boyfriend's parents' house or something strange. It was just a 10-minute conversation. and the name came, and that's how I got that name.
Okay, so we all know the situation we're in with regards to COVID-19. Once it came about, it literally put the whole of the industry on stop. We were shut down, and we have been shut down since. Then we realized that there was this new thing called virtual event space. Okay, so two things I'd like you to do for me. Explain to me what we mean by the virtual event space, and how has the virtual event space been working out so far for the industry? Your views on it.
So I think virtual event space refers to any event or platform that isn't in person. This is a virtual experience that we're creating.
So when you say it's
right
not in
now.
person, you mean everybody that shows is animated, or they're puppets?
In person means physical. You're not there physically. So now it's always been events are usually categorized into three. You have in-person events, which are the regular events that we've all known and we all love. Then you have virtual events, which means not nobody, but most interactions are on the World Wide Web, right? People might see face to face. So maybe two of us might be in my house right now and we're interacting with other people, but the platform that is being used is not physical. You can't feel it.
Okay.
And hybrid is the combination of both, which has been in place for a long time, which combines both experiences, which is in person when you actually physically attend an event, and elements of virtual. So imagine a conference where there's a speaker calling in, that's combining in person and hybrid, or a conference where you have 3,000 people in the room, but then you have 1 million people from all over the world. That's a hybrid event. It's been around for a long time globally. I don't know if it's as far back as 20 years, but let's say 10 years, because I remember that there's a conference I wanted to attend 5 years ago, I think, or 6 years ago. It was MPI, Meeting Planners. It's an American institute. And I wanted to attend this event. The event was about $1,200. And the travel, everything was expensive. And I just couldn't go. And then, because I had tried to buy my ticket at some point, when they started selling virtual tickets, I got an email saying, oh, we see that you never went through buying this. Okay, we have the virtual element. You can't attend. So let's assume there were 100 sessions. You can attend 20 sessions with $100. I flew on it. That was my first real virtual experience, and it was amazing. I actually felt that the people that paid $1,500 or $200 were cheated, because I was like, I didn't miss jack, right? I didn't miss anything.
So what was amazing about it, though? What made it amazing?
The engagement. So for any event, as you know, engagement is key. So what they did was, so just like how, maybe when people ask questions now, we answer. Maybe, like, I know when I log onto your talk show, you call my name, you wave at me. So I know that you see me. I feel that you see me. So even though we're not in the same space, I know that you see me, even though you don't even see me physically. And that's the same thing that happened for that event. We had a chat room. Almost all sessions, or the sessions that we had access to, always had a Q&A for us in the chat room. So they'll be like, oh, Tobi from Nigeria is asking this. So and so from Uganda is asking this. They answer, Tobi, do you have any rejoinder? That kind of thing. So I was engaged. And the second part of it was every other person in the chat room, we were engaging with each other as well, right? So, oh, you guys are ready for this session. And on a good day, when you attend conferences, people are usually a bit shy. It takes a while for you to warm up and start interacting and start, engaging with other people. But after just one day of chat, you were like, okay, you guys, this is my LinkedIn handle. Add me. Let's come for tomorrow's session. What time you guys be here? What time is it in America? Oh, no, I won't be able to make instant friends. I think at least 3 of them are still my friends on LinkedIn, and we shout out to one another once in a while. This is from about 6 years ago. Virtually, we've never met, They've changed, jobs have changed, everybody has changed in different ways, yet we're still in touch from a virtual event. So I think that whilst that element was there, people still prefer in person. We're social animals. I understand that. I prefer, you know, we just finished the ILEA AGM. I know I saw you, I saw the different people. And I just felt like I wish we were in the room, yapping each other, dancing. The vibe, once we created an amazing vibe, the vibe in person is still different, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what I always say about virtual events is virtual events will not replace in person. They will not, and they're not trying to replace in person. They're a different experience entirely. And I think that once people look at it that way, they begin to appreciate it. Because I find that in Nigeria, people, in Nigeria specifically, or should I say in Lagos, people fight against, oh no, is it not, we'll just be looking at the screen, I beg, I beg. It's because they think we're trying to replace the in-person experience. No, take it for what it is, a virtual experience. Take all that comes with it, enjoy it, and it can be added, and it can make an in-person experience even richer. But in itself, it's a different experience. I think once people actually have that mind shift, we are not trying to replace in-person events. This is a different experience entirely. It's like saying, maybe you go to eat a meal, you feel like having caviar, and somebody gives you eba. They are both nice. Eba cannot replace caviar. Eba cannot replace pasta, pesto pasta. They are two nice meals, taken in different ways, taken with different drinks, taken in different types of ambience. And I think if people look at it that way, they will enjoy virtual experiences and even create better virtual experiences. They cannot be the same, and they are not meant to be the same.
Let's look at it another way. You say that they are exciting, they're this and that. I mean, in the last 4 months, I'm sure other people might agree with me, and please feel free to make your comments or disagree with me as the case may be. When people call me now and say, Shola, you're going to be on a Zoom meeting, yeah? One of three things will happen to me. Number one, I'll switch off the video and fall asleep, but I will let people think I'm there because I'm bored out of my mind, you know, because when you're on a Zoom, when you're on a virtual meeting or a virtual event, you can't walk away and go and chat with somebody else or go and look at some other part of that event. You can only focus on what the camera is showing you at that particular time. Two, I could be on my phone, I could be doing a whole lot of other things besides being in this particular event or being part of it. Three, it's lonely. I'm in my house, I'm by myself, I'm watching an event. I can't talk, I can't shake hands, I can't high five, I can't clap, I can't cheer, I can't do anything. How does that make it an exciting event?
So I'll address 2 or 3 things. One, the Zoom calls that you can put off your video and fall asleep, I blame the organizers. I blame them because people forget. I blame them. They might not know, right? But I use the word engagement. Even in in-person events, if people can be, you can have this massive screen on, things that happen, somebody's performance, people are on their phone, they're like, yeah, whatever. It happens even in in-person events. So at the end of the day, it's all about engagement. When you are planning a virtual event, you have to find ways of engaging people, and they know that they cannot run. You know that your name might be called, you know that there's something that'll be asked, you will be attentive. You know that it's fun, you know that there's a game going on. You have to make it immersive, and you have to make it engaging. The word is engaging. Because if you, so for instance, now I have a virtual party I'm planning, and I got a message, oh, blah, 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 I want to play a video for 1 hour. I said, impossible. It's impossible. Even in in-person events, after 5 minutes, if you're lucky, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, depending on what event it is, what message you have. If it's an event where people are going to make money from your video, they will listen. So if I say, Mr. M, this video, by the time you watch it for 1 hour, blah, blah, blah. You become a dealer, you make this 20% profit. You're going to watch it and have your notepad. But if it's a party, hell no. Nobody's going to watch anything for 1 hour. You need to keep the senses. It's harder for virtual events. Is it possible? Yes, but it's harder. You need to do things that keep people, oh, what's this about? Okay. So you can't do things for too long, and you have to really, really target the people that thing is for. So what I'm going to do for a virtual event that is for a 13-year-old is different from a 50-year-old. Like a regular event, it's the same thing. The strategy is different. You have to the W's and the H. Who, where, how, what are the other W's? Who, where, how, whatever. You have to personalize, as Mahogany said, the experience. So if I'm doing something for, let me look for maybe Mr. M and his friends, going to be completely different from Mahogany and her friends. Going to be completely different from an organization, because that's where things like you're sending out forms, asking different specific questions so that you can customize that experience. It's all about customizing the experience. It's all about making people engaged. It's all about educating people as well, because people don't really know. It's new for a lot of people, and people are focused on in-person interactions. They don't even want to open their minds up on what can happen. So like you, when you said somebody sends a message in Zoom, you already sort of like, you zoomed out in your head. You're like, no, not again. But if you had attended like 2 or 3 interesting events, you won't have zoned out that way, right? So why are we doing this event? It's a party, okay, but why are you doing this party? Do you want your friends to have fun? Do you just want to talk for 1 hour and you don't care if anybody has fun? So that's fine. So it depends on, because you'd be surprised that the reason why people do parties is very different. It's very different, and you know that the reason why people do events, some people say, oh, I want to celebrate my friends, but what they're really saying is, I just want to, maybe I want to show something. I don't know, but you have to look deep in what the person wants and why the person is doing it. Then you tailor the experience. So you might be bored, but the client you've achieved the client's aim. But as a good producer and planner, you need to marry everything. Oh, yes, this is what you want to do, but people will be bored after 10 minutes. Let's do it this way. You suggest, oh no, how do we get people engaged? Okay, personally, one of the ways I like to do that is games. Games always work. Always get people engaged. People like to be involved. People just don't like to watch. If they want to watch, they'll be at home watching YouTube or watching Netflix or DSTV, right? You need to get them involved. Even if it's to say, oh, okay, answer this. The games don't even have to be, so as I said, I have something I do. I'm called a game master. I love games. They don't have to be childish games, but the idea is something to engage people, something to show that they are there and they have been seen. Even simple things as calling people's names when they log on. Because some people log on to an event, nobody knows they are there. Nobody sends them a message in the chat box. Oh, Mr. M, I see you, welcome. Oh, hi everyone, what's going on, blah, 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 blah. You need to engage them. Chats, emojis, music, any way you can. With virtual events, you need to think. You really need to think. It's not about. So I think another thing is, a lot of people are used to focusing on the logistics part of an event, whereas there's a lot of strategy that goes into events. And I think what virtual shows a lot of people is you have to do that strategy. If you could get away with it with in-person events, you can't get away with it in virtual. You have to think of the awkward silence. You have to think of, oh, okay, I don't want to lose. I want to engage 80% of this crowd. How do I do this? Who are the people coming on this call? What do I do? What do I say? When I'm losing them, this is plan B. Because it's dynamic. You have to be very, 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 very dynamic. It's a lot of work. And I think that the problem some colleagues will have with this is clients downgrade the work of virtual, right? Clients feel virtual is easier. Clients feel, but that's because in this part, emphasis has been laid on the logistics element of events, vendor management, venue selection, not the entire thought process that goes with planning an event. And it's time that we begin to shift that thought pattern, I think. There's a lot of work that goes into
looking at, we've been shut down literally around the world since March. We're still kind of shut down around the world generally. I mean, some places have opened slightly. So give us your. I'm going to put you on the spot here. Yeah. Yes, that's right. Be ready. I don't know if you thought Wari gave you questions. Forget what she gave you. Other one at 419. You have my own questions now.
It's you,
So,
Mr. M. I'm ready for you.
so give me your top 2 international virtual events, your top 1 African virtual event, and your top 2 Nigerian virtual events, and explain why.
Top. I would say
Don't worry,
international. I would
I'll
say
give you masters if you pass this one.
I'll pass it. The Democratic Convention, the American Democratic Convention is one. The Global
Why?
Citizen
Would you not be able to say the same thing about the Republican? Or are you just being showing favoritism
So I
because
have not
it's
followed the
Democrat?
Republican one. You told me to
Okay.
choose, and I'm choosing, and I'll give you my
Okay. I
reason.
hear. I will still challenge you.
Yes, Democratic is the one I was involved in. The ones I've been involved in terms of actually attending, in quotes. The Global Citizen Festival.
What's
That
that
was
about?
that's a music festival trying to raise. So basically, it was during COVID, and Global Citizen is a massive NGO that promotes. They really promote stuff in Africa, children, poverty, all those kind of things. But the production was mad, mad. It was a massive production, massive,
So
massive.
when you say it was a virtual and it was a concert, were all the artists in one place or were they in different
No,
places?
all
Give
the
us a little
artists
bit
were in
of an
their
insight.
houses, home studios, wherever they were.
Okay.
Yeah, and they recorded. So some were a lot of. So with virtual now, let me answer. Let me not digress. Let me answer your question. So
Okay.
those are 2 international type events. Um, which other one? Which other one? Okay, there's a small event I attend regularly. It's called Exciting Times. It's for event professionals. It's like a happy hour. It's simple, but it really works. So I'll mention all the events and I'll tell you why. Nigerian game night with Tobi. That's my own event.
If you didn't say that, I was going to flog you because I wouldn't understand.
Game night with Tobi. I don't know if I should call that Owambe thing they do that Indomie does. I think it is. Indomie used to do. I don't know if they still do it. There's one Owambe thing they used to show on TV. It's
Every
like
Saturday. Yeah.
I think it's every Saturday. It was really popular, and I understand why. Um,
Okay,
I
so
think
let's just concentrate on these ones because I think you've picked a good variety. Because what I want you to do is that I wanted people that are listening. I mean, I know a lot of the events, but I want people that are listening that don't understand virtual events, that either watch some of these or have now heard them to get an understanding of what we mean by virtual events. So you can go to part 2 of why you were thinking some of them are good, some of them
And
may
sorry,
not be.
I'll add one more. The IEL AGM today was a virtual event. I will add. We have to promote IEL. Yeah, so I'll throw that in. I think one of the things that a lot of these ones have is the so for virtual events, like every event has to be perfect as much as you can. Things happen, some things will deviate from plan, blah blah blah. But with virtual events, everything has to be precise. Like I think my lighting is off, something is wrong. This kind of things can't happen with virtual, right? If you have to test every single thing, like the Global Citizen, I can imagine how many months and weeks they planned, the logistics, the AV, the people that they might have to go and shoot in their houses, the people that, okay, this is the spec for your phone, this is how you should position it, this is how we want the recording, this is how we want the sound. It's very specific and it's very detailed and it's very technical, right? You're thinking on that angle. Now you're thinking on, okay, who are we targeting? You're thinking of the marketing angle. Then you're thinking of providing programming for your target market, right? So yeah, 360, and it has to be very, like if you watched the global, what they call it, the global citizen, blah, 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 blah. The event flow was amazing. Even the democratic debate. Which speaker speaks when? Who is listening at what time? This demographic that is listening at this time, who will get them to tweet and say stuff so that the next set of people will listen to the next speaker at this other time? It's very detailed. It's amazing when you actually think about the work that goes into it. You actually need to do more work because, as you said, people get bored. So you need to engage. You need to find ways. The Indomie one, people were laughing. I was with some friends and they're like, is it for one Indomie or is it cutting that people are really dancing like this? But guess what? Some people are there to watch people that are supposedly making an ass of themselves, but they are not. They're having fun. Some other people are tweeting it and reposting it because they're really having a good time. Some other people are doing that because they want to win something. Their engagement was 100%, 100. So the reasons I like all the events I mentioned, engagement, I keep on saying this engagement thing. Like the exciting times that a friend of mine in New York does. You want to go every week. Why? You're meeting people. Everybody's given a chance to speak, right? You're not going there to watch. And if you go there to watch, you'll be left alone, but you want to go there because you know you're going to engage. I feel like I have a new set of friends in that city just because I attend that event. The engagement is 100%. The topic for discussions are things I'm interested in, right? So I'm their target market and they got me because the content is 100%. Content, production quality. So when it's not, so things like birthdays, things like happy hours, production is not really about production, it's about content and engagement and why people, that togetherness, you know how you said, you know, maybe somebody just in their house. Well, you feel like when I go online and tap, I'm like, hey, hi, Mr. M, hi, Uncle Aki. I feel like I'm with you guys. Like the AGM today, I felt like I saw you guys. Honestly, I felt like.
But let me just pick up on that for a second. Okay, I was doing a test experiment just whilst we were talking, and Wari, being I too know, actually picked up on it. But I wanted to see if you would pick up on it. Which because you were talking, it was an experiment.
You were distracted.
Sorry?
You were distracted.
I was looking like I was slouching. I was looking very bored. My facial expression was like, oh gosh, you're talking. What I wanted to show there and to the people that are watching is that when we talk about engagement and we talk of virtual events, how easy is it to know when you see somebody portray that body language that it is either your content is not engaging or it is just that is their bad mannerisms? Because if we're going to make virtual events the new tomorrow, these are the sort of things you're going to have to deal with. I mean, I don't know if you remember, some people might have saw the video. I won't get into the graphic details. Somebody was having a work meeting, virtual work meeting. A young gentleman thought that his camera was off and he decided to do some stuff that he should not be doing. But anyway, I think you understand what I'm doing. Live on camera, the women were like, oh my God, oh, what's he doing? What's he doing? So these are the sort of things. How do you control those sort of situations?
So regarding engagement, when you have a larger percentage of people disinterested, it means that your content wasn't right, or the people you targeted for that event were the wrong people. It's just those two things. When people are bored, because I've gone for I've planned an event, or I produced an event virtually where we were done. So first of all, people are used to doing long, blah blah blah. This event, we made it short and very sweet. So by the time we were ending it, people were like, we need more now. Okay, can the band play for a while? We're like, you know what? We'll leave the band to play on for 30 minutes. What did we do there? They've been attending 4-hour long speeches, blah, 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 boring events. And suddenly, you know, it's over and they were having fun. So what did that mean? We matched the content with the target market. I don't think once you do that, because you always have, because even in-person events, you always have that odd person that is always on the phone, is not listening, you know, that person that is just, you always have that 10-20%. But if you have 50% that is not engaged, something went wrong and you need to check it. You need to tweak your content or tweak your audience, whatever it is. You need to make sure that your content is right for your audience. That helps. That always helps.
So
you asked another question. I'm not sure I answered it.
no, you did. I don't want to drag on too long about engagement, but let's look on it like this now. So I want to get into a little bit of technical questions so that for those that are on here or that will watch it later that are thinking of doing their virtual event, first and foremost, what are the best platforms that you can recommend that people should use to host their virtual event?
That's a so getting a platform is like getting a venue. You know how much work we go into getting the right venue. Sorry, I was reading a comment. You know what we go through when we're trying to find a venue is the same thing with the platform. You can't really say in fact, a platform is a venue. It really, really depends on what you are trying to achieve, right? For instance, now, when people do burials, right, I don't understand why they insist on Zoom, because you don't need anyone to say anything to you. You just need people to watch. Nobody's saying anything. It's not a service of songs or a tribute night. It's a burial. The people that are speaking are at the venue, right? They are burying someone. There's an imam or a preacher, whatever. You do not need Zoom. YouTube is fine, right? You do not need Zoom because nobody is speaking. When you need feedback, so it depends on what you're trying to achieve. Zoom, why is something like Zoom or GoToWebinar or one of these other things or Shindig, there's so many, right? Are good is because of the feedback. If you do not need feedback, you do not need that kind of platform. So it really depends on what you're trying to achieve. There's a new platform called Rally. Rally is for networking. If you're not networking, if it's not a networking event where you're actually giving elevator speeches, you're trying to put people together, you have no business with Rally. Americans love it, right? Because there are tables, there are virtual tables, you join several tables, you meet people on that table. When you're bored or tired or you just want to move on, they're not the kind of people you want to meet. You move on to another table, you can remove yourself, you can add. It's brilliant. But it's for networking. If you want an event where you want people to watch and listen, you've missed it. So it depends on what you're trying to achieve. If it's a party, you just want great sound. You don't really want feedback as well. You have things like Shindig, right? But now let's come back to Nigeria. Nigeria, we love interaction, which is why Zoom is so popular here, because of the feedback, right? But not all events are great, because Zoom has its pros and cons, right? But it's popular here because it's very good on our bandwidth, right? It doesn't use as much bandwidth as some other platforms use. It's just easy. It's easy to manage, but it compresses sound. It has its own flaws, but it's just the easiest, right? If you can manage the sound, muting people, all that kind of stuff. So in terms of platforms, there are many. There are like a gazillion. I think I've had demos and spoken to and emailed and had a friend send me. I'm sure we've looked at maybe 80. Some are so expensive. Now, why you've not heard of some? They're expensive. Some very good ones. And because Nigerians haven't yet, I'm still very hopeful, embraced it fully. They're not really ready to pay. It's like paying for a good venue. It's like paying for a venue that has the sound is in place, venue parking is there, everything is chum 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 chum. You've marked everything off. It's more expensive than a venue where people have to just park anywhere, the area boys can come, or the bathrooms are not fantastic, or the sound, barriers are not there. Where it's raining, you can hear noise on the roof, those kind of things. The price is different. The price points are there. So virtual is quite developed, but the higher you go and the better production you want, or the better event you want, the more money you will pay. So that's the answer to the platform question. So there are many. Once you even type virtual party, virtual platform events, and you actually begin to research, there are so many. Some are too clunky. There are some I've tried to, their demos alone and flung out. My bandwidth just didn't work. It wasn't made for someone that lived in Nigeria. Even if you have IPNX or whatever plugged into, it just didn't work. I was flung out, and even people that lived abroad were saying their batteries, their battery went so low, and even for them, it was just sucking bandwidth. So those are the things you consider. What kind of people are logging on. If you have people that are really thinking about their data, you can't even have, maybe you don't even do something with video. Do a podcast. No, really, these are the things you really need to consider. It depends on what you are trying to achieve. The platform, just like a venue, is totally dependent on what you are trying to achieve and a budget.
Okay,
Honestly.
so when we look at virtual events, some people are saying it's going to be the new normal. Some people say as soon as the industry will gets itself back together again, people will move away from virtual events. I mean, there have been some reviews about virtual fashion shows, and the reviews have not been that great. So when you look at your clients, or a client comes to you and says, I'm thinking of doing a virtual fashion show, a virtual event, as opposed to postponing the existing event that I have. How do you convince them? Particularly if you're a person that likes to show off. You want your people to come together to see, you've got Versace linen, you've got candelabras, you've got 2 million lights shining all over the place. Yeah, that's why they want you to come to that event so they can see the exorbitance. But on a virtual event, you can't necessarily do that. So how do you convince people to do a virtual event?
I think it's all about giving the right advice for what they want to do. Because like that fictitious client you just described, I thought of many solutions. One, you have a fashion show, and it's definitely be a hybrid event. There are so many ways of doing these things. You can decorate this massive space, do all the creative, have artwork, have blah, blah, have your models, do all that. And you can decide to say, do you know what? I'm giving a curated experience, 10 people per hour. There's a way they will see it. There's a way you design the space. And those people are maybe the celebs or the HNIs or whatever it is that you want. And some other people will die or pay to watch that event, and even just have one of those celebrities look into a video and say, hi, Shola, blah, blah, blah. Your dress is amazing. You can get them to dress up. So you can, for me, it's not really about convincing. It's about looking at what the person is trying to achieve and how you can achieve it. Is it going to be a virtual? Can a virtual really achieve what the person wants? Or a hybrid event, even if it's just 20 people, cream de la cream, right? And just curate it in a way that those people even feel honored that they could come for 10 minutes, drive past. We're going to, use a disinfected limo to pick people, and they pass somewhere, they will take this walk, they go back in. There are many ways to skin a cat. Many, many ways. But I think that what virtual does is, we're not saying replace. We're saying, let's really think about this again. Because a lot of events that have gotten a lot of coverage that they won't have gotten if it was just in person. They will never have gotten that. The return on investment for those companies is huge. The eyeballs watching that content and engaging with that content is huge. It's an add-on. It might not always be a solution or a replacement. Not always. Sometimes it might not work. Sometimes. But a lot of times, with a lot of thought and strategy, it's an amazing hybrid event. I think that hybrid events are here. Personally, I think that clients, corporate clients, lifestyle clients especially, should leverage virtual. Combine, make it a hybrid event, but leverage it. There's so much, it's even so much cheaper. You can get the biggest names at your conference without them entering a plane. Why not leverage this thing that we have? And for events where people feel so strongly, and I think this is really about, so, you know, I've said engagement a lot. I've mentioned content a lot. And there's the last thing I wanted to say just now. Oh, God. Skip my brain. Creativity. It's really, really about creativity, which is why I said the focus on us now as event professionals is not all the other parts that seemed like it was a lot of work. Logistics is a lot of work. But the creativity in matching these things, when someone comes to say A and coming up with a plan that will get them excited, you need to think and do a lot of research.
So you've raised some good points, which I wanted to pick up. And this is now talking about the business side of things, because I think a lot of the people here, there's event planners, there's a whole variety of people that are watching and will watch it. So Tobi, if we are adapting to the virtual events as the new normal, because you say that you believe that they're here to stay, how do you think it will impact businesses in the event industry? For producers, event producers especially, you've already stated that it's going to save the client a lot of money. You're not going to have to fly in artists. So if we're looking at the things you're saying already, the event industry is going to be decimated by at least 50% or more, just based on what you're saying. So seen as the client, and the second part of it is that clients don't even need you anymore. All they need is a very good... Hold on, let me finish.
Okay.
This is what you're going to put in your argument. Why can't they just say that all they really need is a very good IT team that puts together their virtual event, especially for those in the corporate sector? What do you say? What's your counterbalance to those two arguments?
Why don't they need just an IT team for their in-person events? I throw that back at you.
No, sorry, I'm interviewing you today, so I'm not the one answering it.
Mr.
I know
M,
the answer
I
already.
can turn the tables. You asked a question, and I'm in Nigeria, and I'm asking you another question. I think that, and I said this earlier, the focus, the mentality in engaging an events professional in Nigeria, I think, has been on vendor management, maybe, has been on, for some people, right, for some parts, social events and some type of corporates. Because when you are producing an event, when you are planning an event, you're not managing or coordinating an event. You're producing, you're planning. The client can come and say, we've done all this. Or you take. That's management and that's coordination, which is what I think 50% of clients do in Nigeria, which is why they might say an AV team. But the same way, when you have an event and they think they have all these vendors, if you were not on board, it would have been utter nonsense, right? I think it would have been the flow, the ideas, the fact that someone is giving a speech and that's when someone comes out to serve, even the kind of vendor that specializes in something else you've gotten for another thing. It's just the entire thought process. It's a thought process. It's a creative flow. It's not vendor management. An AV team is not going to come up with the idea. An AV team is not going to tell you how it's going to flow, how the different elements work together. We are not AV people. We're not going to replace AV people. AV people can never replace us. We all have our different roles to play. Even on a virtual production, you can have different types of virtual producers doing different things. You still have all those roles that we had in person. And now, clients that come and say, why don't I need? They were never your clients in the first place. Because it's the same kind of client that will come and say, I don't need a planner. I can do this. Let's see what you will do. You can't compare. I think that in this part, our work has been trivialized a lot. But those that don't know, the problem is, I think the onus is on individual planners and producers to educate people. Because if a client calls me now and says, I can do this, I don't even know what I will say. Honestly, I honestly don't know what I'll say, because I don't know if you heard the story of, I can't remember what artist, one of these old time, I don't know if it's Leonardo, one of these people, he drew something on it's a story, I don't know if it's true, but the story will drive home my point. He drew something on a piece of tissue or something, and somebody came to him in a restaurant, oh, blah, 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 oh, yeah, please do something for me, draw this thing, and he drew, and he said that's $10,000 or whatever. And the person said, you just did this. I said, I didn't just do this. I've been doing this for how many years? So if I just did this, it won't look like this. But this is 20, 30,000 this that I've done to make this 50,000 one look so perfect. You cannot take away the experience. So when a client asks for something and we just answer like it's nothing. Our colleagues abroad don't do that because that's what you're paying for. You just don't give answers like that, because that answer I'm giving you are from the lessons I've learned over the last 10 years. The experience I have, and the reason why I can give you that advice in 5 seconds is because of my 10 years. It's not because yes, I might be intelligent, I might be creative, but I've learned. Have you noticed how when you look back at your events 10 years ago, you're like, should I do that? But that event was great, but you've grown exponentially. Yeah. So you have learned so much and you keep on bringing those things to bear. That's why every event you do is always taking up a notch, because you've learned something. It might be as simple as the crockery. It might be as simple as how to deal with the AV guy, as simple as the material on the stage. It might seem simple to you when you're advising the client, but it's years of experience. You cannot take that away. The client doesn't read for hours. The client doesn't watch videos for hours. The client doesn't argue with their colleagues for hours, trying to get more knowledge and trying to give an in-depth experience. You can't take that away from us. You can't.
I agree with you, Toby. I mean, what you're saying is right. Just going back a little bit, look, I know a lot of these answers I asked the questions of, but because I'm interviewing you, it had to come out of you. So when you're framing back your question at me, don't even try it. It's coming back at you. But we're coming close to rounding up. And what I always like to do with my guests is this. I like to open the floor to you to say what you want to say, give some advice, impart some knowledge and wisdom, whatever it might be. Say whatever you want to say to the people that are listening and watching.
Okay, so I think I would it's sort of like a question you asked about jobs. First of all, because I've had someone ask me when I was promoting my game night, say, oh, Tobi, you don't want us to go back to events. I said, no, I want us to. I miss events. I went for a recce the other day, just listening to the music in the venue. I almost cried, Mr. M. It was very emotional for me. I was like, oh my God, I really miss this. I really do. But I think that this period is a period for us to get better. It's innovation. We're not trying to get rid of. So what I'm saying to people listening is this: don't feel like virtual is trying to take our jobs away. Whether we like it or not, we've not worked. A lot of us haven't worked the way we work in a long time, right? Things have changed. We had no part in making that change, but we have a part in adapting in the ways that we can. In-person events will come back. We're Nigerians, and once we are safe, they will come back full. I can't wait for December. I'm really hoping that somehow, I can't wait for those big banging events, and we're stressed out, blah, blah, blah. I don't mind. I miss it. But I think it's also a time to learn, a time to see how we can do things differently, a time to see and assess what we're really bringing to the table, really, because I think we can't have a defeatist mindset. It's not easy, especially when money is not entering your account. But it's a time to just think of what next, how next, when next, how do we do this differently? Okay, when in-person even comes back, how do I show my clients that this is
I can
different?
learn to understand you much better if
I'm bringing.
I need
What's happening, Mr. M?
I don't mind. My computer decided that it wants to talk by itself. Don't mind.
So what I would say to everyone is keep thinking. If the kind of job you're doing right now, there's nothing else, you really can't work in a virtual space, just keep reading. You'll be surprised at something you might just see on TV or something someone says, And don't disregard anyone. That's something I really learned. Like, whether it's someone that's been in business for 1 year or 10 years, you just never know what you can learn from another person. Have an open mind. Have an open mind. And just keep finding ways of getting better, really. And if really, really, really there's no work, you have to find another kind of job. Honestly, I think that's just what it is. If really the kind of job you do, there's really nothing you can do, whether because now it's 50 people or 100 people or nobody's booking, nobody seems to have money for what you do, find another means of livelihood for the time being while you're reading and innovating. But don't give up hope, and open your mind to things. Read, watch, talk, relate with people. Just learn and just keep learning and keep hope alive. I think that's the kind of advice I like to give now. Keep hope alive, and things will come back, but they'll be different. So you need to have sort of tweaked your skill sets, your mindset, and your offerings, because things will definitely return, but I don't think things will ever be the way they were. We might still have massive concerts, but what the clients might even want from you might be a different way of thinking, a different way of addressing that thing. So I think we just need to keep improving and keep innovating and talk to others.
Wow. You heard it here live from Tobi, Tobias. Giving her
My sister
insight.
was on the call. She said Tobias is for family. Yes.
I said, Shay, you can say whatever you like. I will still call her Tobias because me and family. Whether you want to adopt me or you don't want to adopt me, that's your wala. I'm your family. Wait till I see you, eh? I will show you how much family I am. Anyway.
Mr. M, well done. I know I told you that time when I wanted to start doing, I didn't even met you, but that time I used to think of my theater productions and stuff. It was your face that was always in my head. I said, this man that is always screaming at us when we want to watch a play. It was just like, even the first time I actually made an announcement before a theater production, I was like, Mr. M just stands up now and just, so me too, I was just like, you think I've been doing it, but I was shaking. Also, well done
Thank
with
you,
all the
too.
production work. Thank you for all the innovation, and thank you for being accessible to different people in the industry. It's very important that we all stick together. Very, very important. So
Thank you so much. We're down to our last 30 seconds, so I'd like to say a big thank you to Tobi. Please, thumbs up, love hearts. Also to her sister, her big supporter that has been here throughout. Thank you, everybody. I hope you had a great time. Tobi, love you loads. We'll be back
love
very
you, Mr.
soon.
M. See you soon. Bye.
Take care, my love. Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Guys, that was an amazing show with Tobi. She spoke about how to do virtual events. We will be back again next week, same time, same place, with another great guest. We will also be here on Thursday with FFA chat room. Guys, COVID is real. Be safe, social distancing, wear your mask, take care. We love you loads. See you again next week. And Tobi, once again, thank you, love. We're out of here. Bye, guys. Good night. Not